Well, National Treasury is sticking to its guns on Eskom's financial reporting exclusions. It does not have to include irregular, wasteful or fruitless expenditure in its reports for the next 3 years. A number of organizations are furious about this. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is defending the move, though. He says it will shield Eskom from negative outlooks in global markets. So what does it all mean? Here's eNCA's Heidi Giokos.
Experts have slammed Treasury's exemption of Eskom, labelling it outrageous. National Treasury has been accused of enabling a possible second round of state capture. But the department has been at pains to point out that Eskom still needs to record wasteful and fruitless expenditure. It just won't be in the financial reports as per norm.
When I see the strong interest and the strong criticism of us in issuing this exemption, I take a positive point from it, that South Africans are concerned about fighting corruption, and they want us to do more to fight corruption and to fight corruption at Eskom, as we've seen, the impact on load shedding and so on. So I think that that's a positive, and I'm happy that South Africans want to be actively involved in that fight. And certainly as Treasury, we have been and continue to be totally committed to fight corruption at Eskom, any other SOE, any department in government. So that's the first point. I think the confusion is that when this exemption was published, and again, I also accept the criticism that we didn't have an explanatory note at the time. And so that led a lot of the speculation, and the speculation has sort of, in a manner of speaking, gone wild, okay? It's gone all around. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about it. The exemption, and perhaps we regarded it as a purely technical process to assist how Eskom reports in its financial statements and annual report.
The Auditor General will still go through Eskom's books, but the exemption will make it a lot more complex exercise.
What the exemption then simply says is that the information relating to PFMA compliance moves away from the first 10 pages of the reporting to the end of the annual report. The significance of that is that that information, wherever it's located, the Auditor General still has to apply her mind and identify if there's any irregular expenses, if there's any issues that still need to be ventilated. She has to apply her mind and distinguish between the matters that emanate from criminal conduct. In other words, if somebody stole money, she still has to say that somebody stole money.
In 2022, Eskom recorded a total of 67.1 billion rand of wasteful expenditure, most of which was related to transgressions. Putting it into context, the Kusile Power Station, the country's most problematic, was budgeted to cost around 81 billion rand, but has since ballooned to over 150 billion rand. The Finance Minister will appear before the Standing Committee on Appropriations and Public Enterprises on Wednesday to explain his rationale on granting the exemption. Heidi Giokos in Johannesburg.